Residential contractors have a secret. Have you ever seen these trucks driving around? These are pre-built framing packages. Think Lego blocks for the house and shed construction. They build these framing packages in massive factories. Today, I am going to build pre-framed walls for my shed myself, all in my backyard. Pre-framing is much faster to assemble and gives straighter walls. It is also way cheaper to do yourself than to pay to have them done. Last time I showed you how I made all my trusses. This episode is how I made my framing for my walls. So today we're gonna start working on the walls. What I need to do is take my stud length lumber. I need to take those and cut them down to 85.5 inches. The reason that I'm doing that is I wanna limit the overall height of this. With the 12 and 12 roof, it's quite tall. It won't matter much from my neighbor's side, but from my side, because I put the patio blocks down and with the 6-inch skid under it, it really does put it pretty high up in the air for a full 8-foot ceiling. So I made sure my ceiling's tall enough that I can stack 2 bikes on top of each other. And then for everything else, that's plenty. And I just worked my math back to make sure that I have a full height door so that I can get in. So what we need to do now is cut 40 2x4s at 85.5, and then we're gonna start framing the walls. I have my mark for my distance. I am going to put that up on my saw, line it up. I'm gonna take a little sacrificial block, and then I'm gonna put a clamp that hopefully works. And all that does is gives me a solid stop for each board. All you're doing is keeping it against the fence. And there you go. We'll just do a quick measure here. 85.5, 39 left to go. I'm just gonna blow through all of these. I'm gonna stack them to the side. We'll talk after. Now, this is a shed, so it really doesn't matter how accurate this mark is. All it needs to be is the same across everything else. If I need to cut more of these later, I can always just measure and cut them one by one. Here are all of them done. We have a single bottom plate, our stud, and then a double top plate. That's going to be a 90-inch interior height, and so that's just perfect. Our bikes are about 42 inches tall, so that gives me about 6 inches to play with to stack 2 sets of bike. It's not as good as a full 8-foot ceiling, but it is what it is. All right, so I laid out one of the bottom plates. This is going to be for the back wall of the shed. It needs to be 8 feet long overall, including the sheathing. There's going to be a piece of sheathing for this wall here and a sheathing board for that wall there. If you want them inset, which I do, you want them to be, why do I want them inset? Oh, the reason that I want them inset is because I want these trusses, how they have the fish mouths on them, I want the fish mouths to fit on the outside of the sheathing. I want to sheath them first and then put the trusses on second. So they need to be 8 feet wide. I drew out the 2 sets of sheathing. This is my 8-foot line here. So I take off the 2 sets. I could have put them on both sides, but I just wanted to only cut off one half of this 2x4. And then I laid out the 2x4s. So 1 2x4 at one end, 1 2x4 at the other end. That's 16 inches. So the 16 inch on center. So you measure from here to here is 16 inches. So the 2x4 goes on the other side of that line. 16 inches. Now this one, this is my 48-inch mark from the edge of the sheathing. And the reason that I did that and put this here is when I put the 2 sets of sheathing on here, the sheathing doesn't matter all that much, but what does is my vertical siding. It's in 4x8 sheets. So I want that siding to have its overlap land right on this 2x4. So I'm going to double up this 2x4. I'm gonna mark another one. We'll cut the excess length off, and then we can actually start laying out the studs. So to duplicate this, I'm just gonna take my speed square, I'm gonna line it from the edge, and I'm just gonna transfer these marks. So there is my top and bottom plate all duplicated. I am not gonna do this for all the plates on this project. I am just going to mark them and cut them. I'll show you some of the layouts for maybe the front walls, some of the header walls, just so that you can see what we're looking at, but we'll just frame them on the ground. My second top plate, because it's gonna have a double top plate because I'm using trusses, I am going to cut and place that when the other walls are already up. I'm gonna stagger them so that it locks all the walls together with that second top plate. So now what we can do is we can actually start assembling this wall. Let's talk framed walls. Generically, what you have in a framed wall is a bottom plate that goes on the bottom, a top plate that goes on the top, and then studs in between. We're also going to put in a couple headers in here. We're gonna put a 2x4 and a 2x6 header in it. And then we're gonna have other types of studs like jack studs and king studs that's gonna go on either side of those headers. What we're gonna do today is start assembling our walls. For my load-bearing header, I am using a 2x6, and I'm gonna sandwich some 1/2-inch plywood in there. It does absolutely nothing load-bearing wise. Not absolutely nothing, it does something. But what it does is it does space it out so that a 2x4 wall, it fills out both cavities. So for shed purposes, I'm gonna do it. Sometimes I leave it open, sometimes you can put foam in it, and that'll increase your insulation. So here's my method for assembling a beam. I'm going to do my measures. I want a 48-inch rough opening, and I am going to have 2 jack or trimmer studs. So I need to do 1.5 inches for each of those. So I need to add 3 inches. So my beam is gonna be 51 inches long. So I'm gonna cut them both at the same time, just for ease of my life. Now, if I was smart, I would have bought a 2x10 and just cut it in half to do both of this. I wasn't, because I changed the size of my openings, but I decided that I want the full 48-inch rough openings on both the doorways. So instead of using a 2x6 for the non-load bearing, I'm gonna use a 2x4. Ooh, that is hooked. All right, so I might as well cut this at the same time. Now what I have here is just some standard 1/2-inch plywood. Okay, there we go. Now there's my fill-in plate done. Let's assemble that beam. I'm gonna check my crown on these. If they're crowning like this, lengthwise, you wanna make sure that that's going the same way so that when you laminate it, they're both going in the same direction instead of being all widdly-waddly. Now I'm gonna have my board here. I'm gonna take my board here, I'm gonna put my 1/2-inch plywood in it, and then I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna put it on top. Now, the reason you put that 1/2-inch plywood in there is because when this is all squeezed together and nailed, that 2x4 right here covers up this entire band here, so that this fits in nicely. It's flush here, so if you're gonna do the door or anything, you can use this header without having to do a whole bunch of furring out of doorways. I am going to screw this together with number 10 3.5-inch screws. Why am I only using a few screws? Screws don't have the shear capacity that nails do, and technically in code, all of these need to be nailed. This is a shed, it probably doesn't matter, but on a 2x6, what you want is 3 fasteners in a row on each edge, 3 fasteners on each row, and then do 12 inches on center. I'm gonna blow those in with the nail gun afterwards. It's a shed, so you could probably just use the screws. You could do it with GRK fasteners because they're actually rated, but they are really expensive. So nails are a heck of a lot cheaper, especially if you have a nail gun. We still have this big giant ridiculousness sitting off the edge here. If you actually assemble the beam, it gives you a really good, nice place to cut. Super flush on the bottom. Let's put together the 2x4 beam the exact same way, and then we'll come back after. Let's start building a couple walls. We have all of our components. First one, let's build the back wall. We can even sheet it, and then we can leave it there and build the front wall on top of it. I am going to put top and bottom plates out. All right, let's lay it out. You want to make sure that your crown on the board going this way, down the big end, is going in the same direction so that your wall doesn't do this. I'm going to put my crowns up, and what I'm also going to do is pick a really straight board for both edges, because what it's going to do is it's going to make putting up the rest of my walls a lot easier. All right, this is it laid out. I am going to use screws to put this together. It's faster to bang them together with nails. Technically, it's also more correct. It's a shed I've actually had up here in Canada. I have had lots of framing inspected. They've never called out my screws. They don't seem to care all that much, and I don't need an inspection on the shed anyway. But the proper nail is three nails, toe nailed or end nailed, I think it's 10D nails is what you're supposed to use, 3.5 inch. What I have is 3.5 inch number 10 screws. Uh-oh. Oh, guys, I just wrecked a bit. No. Okay, now that this is done, we got the other side to do, but we already laid out the plates, so it's easy. That is the back wall framed. Okay, let's do the front wall. So I have full length header here and I have 2 bottom headers here because this is going to be a door opening. So we're going to start up here. We're going to frame these 2 in. We're going to put the header in and then we'll measure from some jacks. All right. Putting only the king studs in right now. I'm putting 1 king stud in first, then I am going to get my header. So I threw this header in here. Probably doesn't matter, but I am short over here. All right, we're gonna now slide this up. So we're gonna measure this for the jack studs. So we're gonna measure from here. Now this should just slide in. This has its own fastening schedule and code as well. I believe it is every 12 inches. I believe it's 2 nails. You're supposed to put 6 nails into the back of the header to help with twisting. There's 2 fully framed walls. I don't have the compressor set up right now, but what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna, when I get the nail gun out, I'm gonna pop in 1 nail into each of those rather than driving another 3.5 inch screw. Here's my short walls done. So on one side of it, the sheeting is gonna overlap by 3.5 inches, and that's gonna give it enough to catch the front and rear walls with the sheeting to help tie all this together. So in the front here, the wall to be like this. I need this wall then to go from here all the way to here. The hard part is they move around. All right, now I gotta lay out the bottom plate for the end walls. So because these walls are so narrow, that's why I built it with the full bottom plate. So what I'll do is once this gets installed and screwed in, I'm just gonna take a Sawzall and I'll cut the bottom plate. So let's tip this up. Do our last one, all done. All right, I'm gonna sheet these the same way that I did the base. That is because these are walls, I'm gonna make them square on their own by taking a sheet of plywood, attaching it to the long side, and then I'm gonna rack this and pull it to line up on this side. So that's gonna work for all of them, even for the short walls, so that'll make sure that every single wall is square. Pre-sheeting is the secret for pre-framed wall packages, especially for sheds. Adding sheeting at this point lets you square the walls, allows you to put them up without much bracing, and is so much easier sheeting while the walls are laying down rather than trying to hold plywood sheets up and nailing them vertical. Okay, so to start this off, you want to get this decently, you want to get that corner accurate, and you want to get this kind of just lined up decently. This is the important part. It needs to be flush here and flush up here. I can then put one nail in it. I am then going to move along using this top edge of the plywood, lining it up here. What this is going to do is as I move along, it's going to pull any bow out of this 2x4 top plate. So if you have a friend, it's helpful, but I don't have friends. What I'm gonna do is now do this. To do that, I'm gonna rack this. This corner should be square, which it is. there. So I'm gonna get my track saw. The reason that I'm using a track saw is I own one. You line the track up with one, you line the track up with the other. And it cuts it perfectly straight. Shot coil. All right, that is one wall frame. Now I gotta move it. So this is our big main wall. So we're gonna do the same thing. Let's get a piece of plywood. All right, so that's this nailed up. Now we only have the front and all the little pieces to sheet. And so we will do that after lunch. We're gonna go take a break and we'll be back. Okay, I'm just gonna show you how I sheet these small L walls. So I pre-cut plywood for it so that the extra overhang will cover my extra. Grab your next board. Okay, I just made this little tri-block. It's just a 2x4 with the sheeting on it. So I'm nice and tight there. I'm not there. So what I'm gonna do is grab my block. So I'm using it to mark a line. I just have my pencil on there. So this just gives me the edge of the stud so that I know not to run my nailer into my hand. So I'm gonna put my tri-block here. I'm gonna reach over the back and I'm gonna put a nail in it. I can then lay this back down and then put my nails in here. Okay, so the end here is long, so I'm taking a framing square, sticking it under so that I can tell where the 2x4 is, mark the two edges, come back, scribe it, and then I can just take my circular saw, and that's done. For the back wall, I learned from previous sheds that I built. Finishing the back with a shed 1.5 feet from a wall isn't easy. So I am making my life easier. I have already laid building wrap over top the sheeted wall, and now I'm putting pre-painted LP Smart Side cedar finish siding on it before I stand it up. This will almost completely finish the back wall and makes it so that I don't have to hold up siding and paint it in 1.5 feet of space. This is just thinking ahead. So we threw on some sheeting here. Dad's now just going around touching up all the nail holes. So we painted the Sasoji white. We'll see how this looks and whether we like it. But it's easier to paint the ones on the fence before you put them up. So we Tyvek'd it and sheeted it, and I have no idea where my stapler is, so the Tyvek is just loose. I think we're ready to put it up, just like all of those. All right, so it's time for adventure. We're gonna tip this up now, and hopefully it doesn't fall into the fence, but it probably will.